I think there is some type of PPE where it's like it will react negatively with this chemistry, and then now it's like an acid that's
Oh, I see.
sticky. But if you actually had no plastic, then it would be okay.
I see. Like, yeah, I've heard this. Like, some different, depending on the type of chemistry you're doing, you can put on those like nitrile gloves,
Right.
but sometimes you need latex because
Right.
the
Right.
nitrile will react poorly with some chemical you're working with. So if it gets on your
Yes.
hand, yeah.
So it's really you need to know what materials you're dealing with.
I
You
wonder.
just need
I
to know.
wonder. Yeah, I wonder if you could design a suit to have like multiple layers of different materials. So if one got eaten through,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
would be a barrier. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So if like the nitrile becomes poisonous, then you have another one that defends against that.
Right.
it's it's like the like how do I get rid of rats? Well, snakes. How do I get rid of snakes? Well, mongoose. How do I get rid of the mongoose? You just progress forever.
Well, yeah. So you're making an extremely advanced.
Eventually,
I
you're
mean,
like, we should get rid of the human and just send out a robot. Oh wait, but if there's a robot, that might be susceptible to some type of acids that humans aren't. Okay, let's cover the robot in human skin.
human skin is really good. It like, it lets it's sensitive. It has nerve endings. It lets things in. It keeps things out. It's always replenishing.
Hmm.
On the Earth environment, it's extremely good.
That's right. Evolution did the calculus.
So what we're describing is some kind of suit helmet system that is kind of like its own little ecosystem, or at least a thing that is anticipating threats coming
Actually,
up that are like varied. And so it has all kinds of things that counteract one another so you can stay safe. It's kind of super advanced.
you make a very good point about the organic suit's ability to repair itself. Independence Day, those aliens had very smart suits because, like, if you damage metal, that's done. But if you have an organic suit, then it could replenish. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's biomechanical, you can have all kinds of wetware that comes in, and so you can like extend your senses.
Predator as well.
Oh yeah, the predator. Although he's got exposed skin, but he has that helmet.
We can have exposed skin underwater. We still wear a helmet for air.
You know what?
Atmosphere can be different.
That's true. If you're on an alien planet and there's a toxic atmosphere, and it is at a pressure that we can survive at, then you only need a breathing apparatus and maybe something for your eyes, depending on the gas.
Mm-hmm.
And then your exposed skin may be okay. Or you may
Let's
just
say
need.
let's say it's not toxic.
Mhm.
It's just not enough oxygen.
Could be.
Then you have
Yeah,
just mask.
just a mask, right? If it,
And
I guess
maybe
it's-
eyes, carbon. I don't know, whatever.
right, depending on the atmosphere, you could just measure it
Mm-hmm.
and then put on the appropriate.
Imagine if you had like an argon planet.
Mhm.
Nothing, perfectly fine, just not enough oxygen.
Yeah, I guess if it's toxic as well, but high enough pressure and it may leach through the skin, I think you
You
can
suit
just
up.
have a pressure suit on, like a wetsuit, but a pressure suit.
Right.
But it doesn't need all the fancy stuff. It just needs to feel the pressure and it put that on your skin. There's like reduced complexity depending for that as well.
Depending on what you need, yeah.
Hmm.
In high pressure or low pressure environments, like even if the atmosphere is breathable, but it's just low atmosphere, like you still need to keep your helmet on.
You still need to keep your helmet on. Well, didn't we say that unless you have really characterized that environment, like the dust, the biology, the atmosphere, particulates, just everything, you really should just keep your helmet on at all times because there could
Yep.
be something that's not going to show immediate effect.
Even better point. Yeah, that's right. You need a longitudinal study
What's a longitudinal study?
across many years.
Yeah, I wonder how sophisticated if we were sending out colony ships and exploration ships on a regular. So we're visiting thousands and thousands per year of these new planets and moons. How sophisticated would our analysis of planets and moons be? I think it would become pretty sophisticated. Like the initial study would require certain PPE, and then subsequent studies would update that, and it would always be at a level that acceptable risk is pretty low.
I think that's the question. Acceptable risk. I think we first send a robot with a spectrometer, and then after that we send down humans, and then at some point somebody honestly makes a mistake, and they're exposed and like quarantine, and then they do a longitudinal study and see like, did this guy die or not? What's happening to them? Like, I think it'll be cautious, acceptable risk, but also kind of haphazard. Like,
that's how we learn.
Like, yeah, exactly.
And the explorers who would do that would understand the risks, and they'd go for the glory, but sometimes it's not going to work out.
I mean, honestly, Apollo 10, I would have touched down.
Well, that's why they underfueled it.
Yeah, knowing that it's underfueled, I still would have touched down.